This video is about fundamentals of organic chemistry. So the question asks us to write the formula for the organic compound 2-ethylbutane and 1,2-dipromopropane. And so the concept of this question is understanding IUPAC nomenclature, which is the naming system, and how to deduce the organic compound from the name. So firstly, we have 2-ethylbutane. And we first need to look at the end of the name, which is butane, and it tells us the longest carbon chain. So the word bu tells us that there are 4 carbon in our longest carbon chain, and the suffix ane tells us that this is part of the class of alkane, so it all comprises of single bonds. Next, so we can draw out the carbon chain comprising of 4 carbons first, and then we can look at the substituent group. So that tells us that comes first, so that tells us that it's an ethyl group, and it's located at the second carbon. And so you can find this carbon counting from the left to the right. So it would be this carbon right here. So we can fill in the carbon connecting to hydrogens, excluding the second carbon. And we would have something like this. And then on the second carbon, we know that it's a substituent of an ethyl. So it will be connected to 1 hydrogen and an ethyl group. And again, if we look at ethyl, the word F tells us that there are 2 carbon in the substituent group. So we can draw out 2 carbon connecting to the second carbon, and then that 2 carbon, we can fill it in with hydrogens. And that is our organic compound for 2-ethylbutane. Moving on to the second question, we have 1,2-dipromopropane. Again, we need to look at the last part of the name, which is propane. That tells us the longest carbon chain. So the word pro tells us that there are 3 carbons, and the suffix ane tells us that it is an alkane. So all single bonds here. So we can draw out 3 carbon first, and then we look at the substituent group. And here it is promo, which is bromine, and tells us that there are 2 bromine connecting to this organic compound, and it's located at the first and second carbon. So it would be this carbon and this carbon right here. So we can first fill in the 2 bromine that is bonded to the first and second carbon, and then we can fill in hydrogen bonded to the rest of the organic compound. And that completes our organic compound for 1,2-dipromopropane.